Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Curse of Oak Island, historic First Nation artifact find leads to team ceasing work. This week on The Curse of Oak Island, the team found themselves in a state of despair after they were ordered to cease operations in a hugely important area of the island. The guys spent a lot of this week working on the southeastern corner of the swamp, where they found a couple of very significant artifacts. Unfortunately, one of these artifacts would prove to be so significant that it caused the guys to cease working. Firstly, Rick Lagina appeared to stumble upon a brand new stone feature, which seemed to be an arrangement of human-placed cobblestones. This led the guys to wonder if it was another section of the cobblestone roadway that they spent last year uncovering. Rick enlisted the help of surveyor Steve Gutiel to work out if the feature was part of the stone roadway and where it was going. Gutiel later concluded that it was part of the roadway and that it was leading directly to the C1 borehole cluster, where they recently found gold, in the Money Pit area. Rick called this another aha moment and later stated that this find could be hugely significant for their work. Oak Island team discovered ancient First Nation pottery. However, archaeologists Laird Niven and Liz Michaels also came across an intriguing find, a very old and very delicate piece of pottery. Laird almost instantly identified it as belonging to the Mi'kmaq people, First Nation Native Americans who traditionally inhabited Nova Scotia. This meant the pottery could be between 500 and 2,500 years old. Laird followed the rules as laid out by Nova Scotia's Department of Communities, Culture and Heritage (CCH), and informed that organization and the Acadia First Nation Council of the find. He also warned the Lagina brothers of the CCA might ask them to stop working in that area. And sure enough, that's precisely what the CCH did. The Acadia First Nation Council and the CCA requested all the data and maps that the guys had of the area and asked the fellowship to cease and desist immediately until they could get their own people to review the data and visit the island. The CCA provided our guys with a map of the island where they shaded various parts in red. Red meant off-limits. The fellowship were now excluded from 4 acres of the island, including the area with the stone roadway. Oak Island team reacted with anger to cease and desist order. Marty Lagina's anger and frustration boiled over. He pointed out that the team wanted to cooperate with the authorities but felt they were now being hampered on their own island. It seems the more they uncover, the more of their island is taken away from them. Marty spoke of throwing in the towel and just concentrating their efforts solely in the Money Pit area, the one part of the island where the guys still have free reign. At this point, the war room took on the atmosphere of a funeral. There were depressed, sullen faces all around the table. Laird sat with his head in his hands. Praise be to Rick Lagina and Gary Drayton. These guys managed to drag the others out of the fog. Rick calmly said, "There's a way to move forward, and I think we should." He raised morale by pointing out that the drilling program in the Money Pit shows real hope and promise. Gary said, "This roadblock has been thrown in front of us. We're going to go somewhere else and find something spectacular." Smiles began breaking out around the table, and Rick added, "We'll find a way through this. Let's just keep moving forward." The air on Oak Island was thick with the scent of salt and history. For decades, the island had whispered its secrets to a select few who dared to listen. The Lagina brothers, Rick and Marty, were among those who heard the call, dedicating their lives to uncovering the island's enigmatic past. Yet the discovery made on a humid July afternoon would prove to be the most significant, and potentially the most consequential, find in the island's storied history. Rick Lagina wiped the sweat from his brow as he peered into the excavation pit. The team had been working tirelessly for weeks, following a promising lead they hoped would bring them closer to solving the mystery of the Money Pit. The ground, stubborn and unyielding, had given way to a remarkable discovery. A small, intricately carved artifact. The artifact was unlike anything they had found before. Made of stone and adorned with symbols unfamiliar to any of the team, it was clearly old, very old, As Rick carefully cradled the artifact in his hands, he felt a shiver of awe and trepidation. This was no ordinary find. Dr. Tanya Jackson, the team's resident archaeologist, rushed over, her eyes widening as she examined the object. "This is incredible," she whispered. "These carvings, they resemble the iconography used by the Micmac people. This could be a First Nation artifact." The implications of such a discovery were profound. The Micmac people, indigenous to the region, had a rich history and a deep connection to the land. Finding one of their artifacts meant that Oak Island was not just a site of European treasure hunting, but a place with significant historical and cultural importance to the First Nations. Rick and Marty gathered the team for an emergency meeting. The gravity of the situation was palpable. "We need to handle this with the utmost care and respect," Rick began. "This isn't just about treasure anymore. It's about history and heritage." The team agreed unanimously. They contacted representatives from the Micmac community to share their findings and seek guidance. Elder Mary Two Rivers arrived on the island the next day, her presence bringing a sense of calm and reverence. She examined the artifact, her fingers tracing the ancient carvings. "This is a sacred object," she said softly. "It tells the story of our people, of our connection to this land. You have uncovered something of great significance." With her blessing, the team ceased all excavation work. The island, which had long been a playground for treasure hunters, was now recognized as a sacred site. The Lagina brothers and their team understood that some secrets were not meant to be disturbed. The news spread quickly. Media outlets from around the world descended upon Oak Island, eager to capture the story of the historic find. The Laginas, who had always been driven by a passion for discovery, now found themselves in the role of stewards, protectors of a heritage that transcended their quest. Dr. Jackson, working closely with the Micmac representatives, began a detailed study of the artifact. They discovered it was a ceremonial object, used in rituals that honored the land and the spirits of their ancestors. The carvings told a story of creation, of a world brought to life by the elements and nurtured by the people who lived in harmony with it. As the weeks turned into months, the relationship between the Oak Island team and the Micmac community grew stronger. Together, they decided to create a museum on the island, a place where the artifact could be displayed with the honor and respect it deserved. The museum would also serve as an educational center, teaching visitors about the rich history and culture of the Micmac people. The transformation of Oak Island from a treasure hunt site to a cultural heritage site was met with mixed reactions. Some longtime followers of the show mourned the end of the search for the legendary Money Pit, while others applauded the team's decision to prioritize respect and preservation over excavation. For Rick and Marty Lagina, the journey had taken an unexpected turn, but one they embraced wholeheartedly. They had always been seekers of truth, and the truth they found was far more valuable than gold or jewels. It was a truth that connected them to the land, to its history, and to the people who had been its caretakers for centuries. On a crisp autumn morning, the Oak Island Museum was officially opened. The artifact, now housed in a specially designed display case, stood as a testament to the island's rich and diverse history. Elders from the Micmac community performed a traditional blessing ceremony, honoring their ancestors and the land they cherished. Rick and Marty stood side by side, watching as visitors from all walks of life entered the museum. They felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that their journey had led to something far greater than they had ever imagined. Oak Island had revealed its greatest treasure, a story of resilience, respect, and connection. As the sun set over the island, casting long shadows across the water, Rick reflected on the path that had brought them here. The search for treasure had ended, but the journey of discovery continued. Oak Island, with all its mysteries and secrets, had found its true legacy.